We have an amazing guest here for you. His name is Xavier Tournaud. He's a filmmaker from France. And welcome to the show, Xavier.
I am so pumped. I feel like I'm part of history right now.
You are part of history.
You know, like this new platform. I mean, it's absolutely incredible.
Well,
I'm very excited to be with you. You're so beautiful, by the way.
Oh, thank you. You're definitely not breaking my camera either, so thank you for that. Well, we're really excited to have you here. Obviously, you know, you're someone who got our attention on the platform and someone who's doing some amazing creative work both on Sue and off. So I'm really excited to get to know you better and also have everyone else sort of get to know you. So yeah, I mean, let's get everyone on board since they probably are less familiar sort of around your background. So have you always been in France? I know you spent some time in LA in the film industry. So tell me a little bit about, like, you know, your history.
I'll give you the short version of my life.
Yeah.
So I was born in France, in Lyon, where I am right now. Lyon is the second largest city of France. It's known for its food and, you know, very close to a beautiful wine country and all that stuff. And then at the age of 21, I decided to go to Boston, actually, to continue my studying. I went to Northeastern University, and I worked in the software business for about 9 years. And after somewhat of an early midlife crisis, I decided to move to Los Angeles with a little bit of a plan, but not really. Maybe some dreams and hopes, but that was about it. And once I got to LA, I was very lucky. I got to work with Ford models. I did quite a few campaigns with, you know, some of my favorite brands like Hugo Boss and Valentino and things of that nature. And then obviously the being in LA, I started taking acting lessons, and so it was a crazy life change for me, because when I was in Boston, I was in the, you know, 8 to 8 type of job, long hours, and all of a sudden here I am doing acting and being super creative, and I absolutely loved it, Sarah. I loved the you know, the searching of the soul inside. And for the story, right before I left for the US, I had lost my father. So it was a very interesting way for me to let those emotions that I had, you know, covered for so many years, and let them come out. So, and then in LA, I in the creation mode, I also realized, obviously, that once you're an actor, and you know that because I know you've been in quite a few things, you don't get to work every single day.
No.
So you have a lot of time to either do something with your life and be creative and or do something. So I started shooting in 3D with cameras with Panasonic.
So cool.
Shooting sports in 3D, sorry, with so cameras with 2 eyes, which was super interesting. And so I kind of put back my business hat back on, and that was a really fun experience until the 3D world kind of like tumbled down. It was in 2011 about where there was a huge excitement around 3D, and 3D TVs came about, and everyone was, you know, wondering how we would deal with the glasses and all that jazz. And then everything went just like almost from one day to the next. So I had to kind of reinvent myself, and I lived in Hollywood at the time, and then I met who is now my my ex-wife for the story. I'm actually recently single, so if there are any single ladies out there listening.
All the single ladies, there you go. I couldn't miss my cue. It was such a perfect setup. Thank you. We are going to start a reality show here on Sue, looking for Xavier's next significant other. You heard it here first.
Requirements. You know what? I'll post it on the app.
We're looking to fill our 24-hour programming. I mean, I think we should just like bring a camera to you, like watch your life, watch you meet other women and sort of find them on the Sue platform. And hey, there's our next show. That's our next hour-long segment here on Sue Live.
Wow, I'm actually quite ready for this.
Oh my God, I literally have like tears coming out of my eyes. That's so amazing. Well, I'm sorry that I don't know, is it for the best? Is it good that you're single? It was time?
Listen, I have a roof over my head. I have a little bit of food left on the fridge. I have two beautiful daughters. Yeah, not too much. Maybe some pasta also. And I do what I love today, which is making movies. I sound like I'm like a Hollywood guy. I'm not a Hollywood guy. I was lucky enough to be in some big productions like Couples Retreat, which is actually on Netflix right now if you want to check it out.
It is such a good movie, by the way. It's like, I love that film. And when I was looking through your IMDb, I was like, I knew it. I was like, you're the masseuse. Like so knew that because I was like, he's French. I remember this character. And so, I mean, yeah, if you guys need a watch, if you've gone through all of the streaming platforms and you need something else, definitely check out Couples Retreat. It's a really good escape, funny, lighthearted film. And Xavier's in it.
A few guys you may have heard of, like Vince Vaughn, Jon Favreau, Kristen Bell,
Jason Bateman, Malin Ackerman. So many great people.
It was a crazy, crazy cast. It was an absolute blast to be on that film, especially since we went to Bora Bora for a month. So it was just the craziest.
Like, seriously, that's such a hard job, right? So difficult.
It was awful. It was awful. Waking up every morning and diving naked into the lagoon. Now, I'll let you imagine that. No, it was super fun and actually really gave me the true love and desire to create things on my own, like tell stories that are important to me, which leads me to the film that we're putting together right now called Rival. And if you change the order of the letters, it also means viral.
I love word games. I was gonna say that. Yeah.
So, when we are going through what we're going through right now in the world, which is a crazy situation, it's in France, they call it we're at war. I don't believe we're truly at war because my grandfather, for example, was really at war. Mm-hmm. But we are at war with ourselves, with our feelings, with the way we see ourselves in this crazy world. We're bombarded with images, with social media and with TV, and all. It's a very confusing in the mind, I believe, time right now for us human beings to take the information that's coming our way, especially in Europe right now. There are absolutely crazy things going on. People are being decapitated. Really, really crazy things. And so I think, as I said before, I have two daughters, one that's 3 and the other one was 6. And I look into their eyes and I wonder, what is the world going to be like when they are 20? Which is not that far off, and it's about 2035. And it's hard for me to even imagine what's coming next, and how we gonna, as a global humanity movement or whatever, now is the opportunity for us, and platforms like Sue, I think, are super important for that, to kind of like change things. I don't know how exactly, but we need to look into the future. We need to open up that window into our future and figure out what the hell, where are we going? Mm-hmm. And we can't just let the boat steer us, and let the waves eat our boat, like completely like take us all over the place. We have to have some kind of a direction, and I think with what I see and how I feel nowadays, I feel that as a species, as humans, we're lacking a little bit of direction. And the movie that we're putting together is, one, it's entertaining. It's a fight movie. We have Emilien De Falco, who actually I geared towards Sue. He's joining the family.
Yeah. That's awesome.
You see this guy, he's super handsome, he's super cool, he has crazy physical abilities, he's an amazing fighter and an amazing human being. I'm super proud to be doing a movie with him, Emilien De Falco. And we came together at the beginning of March when France got confined. Emilien is in LA. The writer, whose name is Danielle, is in Texas. And we ask ourselves, what is coming next? What is the next danger? COVID seems to be something that will be in control somewhat in the near future. We may find a vaccine or something.
We hope.
Please, I want to touch human beings again. I want to start kissing people and touching hands and giving hugs. That's actually one thing that I love about the US is those crazy hugs that we welcome each other, and I love that. And I miss that. I miss the human touch and all that, physical thing. And so we looked into that and wondered, what the hell is coming next? And one thing that quickly in our research came about was artificial intelligence and the use of artificial intelligence and the proliferation of the use in our lives, whether it be, they control the planes that we take, they control our financial institutions. At NASDAQ, not a single decision today is being made by a human being. Everything is made at the nanosecond precision by an AI. So, and there is very little, if any, regulations around AI. So we turned Rival into this, in AI, I guess there are three levels. There's the narrow AI, which is what we know today, the Facebook, the Google, even Sue in a way, is the narrow AI. And then you have the the general intelligence, which is when intelligence is becoming a little more intelligent than us humans. And then you have the super AI that controls all of the intelligence. And that's what people like Elon Musk and the Bill Gates and the Obama and all those people are talking about, being like, maybe we need to pay attention about the use of all that stuff. And so our film Rival sets in 2035 with a world controlled by a corporation and an evil AI.
So is the evil AI at the head of this corporation?
No, it's a corporation that was using AI. That sounds familiar, maybe a little bit with what's happening today. So the control of that AI got lost, obviously, because, the Watson of IBM can learn 200 million book in 3 seconds. The speed, even the VFX guy that's part of our movie was telling us that he just changed his computer, and now what he could render in about 2 hours, he can render now in 5 minutes. It's just the speed of computers is becoming so ridiculously fast. It's actually feeding that beast of AI to take more and more control over maybe humanity. Who knows?
It's a fascinating topic, and one that I've delved into a little bit. I had to audition. This was before the pandemic. There was a company, very famous company in technology here in the States, doing a sort of talk show on 5G and what that meant, and sort of where, what that would encompass, and so it turned to, self-driving cars, and also sort of agricultural technology. And I mean, really, even performing surgery from across the world. You can have medical experts sort of using robotics and sorts of things to do an arm across the world into a heart surgery. So, I mean, it's really pervasive in all areas, in all industries. And 5G is so much more than just the speed of your internet, or the speed of your reception. It's tech, it's transportation, it's how cities are built. It's all of these things, the medical field, like I said, agriculture. And then, so I learned a lot about it then. And then I also had explored it a bit more in terms of, yeah, our over reliance on technology and how that could be a very dangerous thing in the future. You know, I mean, think about how frustrated you get when you go to use like your printer, right? And it's not working, or your computer is frozen, or you didn't back something up, or just a small, like it's not going as fast as you want, like, and how annoyed you get, or how like all of your memories could be lost, or just every single thing, or you type one key, or again, like you said, someone could access your very personal, private information. You know, there's just so much that we depend on technology for. I mean, there's even, this is crazy, I found in my research, like there's a nursing home or like a care home facility in California that relies on, I mean, there are people there, but they use so much technology, like even some of the people that do care for the people that are living there, like it is technology. They have like friends that are computers there. Like it's just insane. They have, you know, detectors in the room to monitor if somebody was to fall, and that way they can see if the fall, if the care center was responsible for the fall, like if the position of the bed would have impacted the fall. But just, you know, all, like it's just insane to me that an entire care facility could be dependent like on technology. And it's scary to think about, if we do become dependent on technology, like what does that mean? Like, and also, what are we missing out on? Like, look at exactly where we are today, like you said, in this pandemic, where you cannot touch anyone. Like, think of what you're missing. Like, you are missing actual like touch. Like, there's something like, can humans be replaced by technology? At some levels, yes, but at some levels, no. Like, there are certain things that technology can't replace.
Well, yeah, I think, you know, technology has that double-edged sword. It's a wonderful thing. Like you said, the application in the medical world are just crazy amazing. What Elon Musk is doing with, you know, BrainLink, I think it's called, that will help people that are paralyzed walk again, and so on. Although all those applications are wonderful, but as long as the human beings remain free, in China right now, as a country, they have agreed, in a way, as a people, they have agreed for the government to have Big Brother really constantly watch them. And now they have screens in the subway with ratings. As you walk by, there's a face recognition that gives your rating if you jaywalked, or if you did you know, whatever. And then your ratings on the wall. I mean, that drives me freaking insane. I would literally, in a society like that, I would lose my shit.
No,
like,
thank you.
You know, like, can we say shit on live, by the way?
I haven't had anybody tell me no, and there have been a couple of words dropped here so far.
You know, and that's really what we're trying to raise in the movie is like, you know, technology is amazing. The only thing is, let me drive my car. That's actually a pleasure that I have. I don't need a self-driving car. I'm an adult. I can drive my car, and I love the shit out of that. I don't need some car is gonna break,
also,
not break.
What if it glitches? What if it glitches, you know, like then who's to blame there? Like then you're looking at like, do you blame the technology company behind the car? Like it's just, that's so scary. There's just so many. And so if you start to think about lawsuits in the future and like who's responsible and ethics, like there's just so much that comes into play. So I think obviously like looking to the future is fascinating and terrifying, and definitely makes for a great premise for a film. So you know, Rival sounds right up my alley for sure. And I love that you said, you know, like where will the world look in 20 years for my girls? And like, that's exactly sort of where you've set the film in 2035. Like, this is a very real thing that you thought about. What would that look like? And that's the inspiration for this. And sort of all of these things that that you're navigating right now have served as sort of the basis for this film. So,
and Sarah, I'm gonna cut you off for 1 second. I'm actually wanting to address all the people listening to us right now. I think there's about 3 of them.
Stop. We get. Okay, so during the stream, I we're still working on how to get the metrics, because that little eyeball on your thing is not right, first of all. But I think by the end of, like, once it lives, once you get the different people tuning in throughout, I think it actually ends up being in the hundreds. So I'm just saying.
Wow. So hi to everyone. And that's the one thing that I'm going to do on Sue, which I haven't done on any other platforms. Just because I didn't really feel like doing it or whatever. But on Sue, I am going to share the journey of making a movie, which is an extremely complicated, and I'm still right now talking to investors and trying to raise the money, and then trying to build the team and the production team and the acting and the crew and all that. It's such a complicated endeavor that I'm going to share this journey, because all of us, all the people that are involved, are kind of crazy and super passionate about what we are about to what the endeavor that we're about to embark. And so on Sue, once we start sharing, I'm going to start sharing a lot of our story. And it's going to be a personal story. It's going to be a story with full of passion, full of love for what we do. And Sarah, I hope you're going to be part of our story too. Maybe even play in our movie. Why not?
I'm so down. Are you shooting in France, or where are you guys shooting?
We don't know yet. Well, we may be shooting in Kiev in Ukraine. To close a street. The film is set where you have about 20% of the population that remains in the world. So we need to have this dystopia kind of look. Yeah. And so it's not easy to get, but maybe Kiev, maybe here in France, in Lyon. It depends on many things, government grants and blah blah blah. So, but.
I'm looking for any excuse to travel after the pandemic is done, so count me in.
We'll do a live on the set. Boom. That'd be cool.
Yeah, there you go. No, seriously though. Yeah, I think it's really amazing what you just said, because I think there is so much that goes into making a film of any particular type of content, like long form content, longer than a couple minutes, let's say. It's a much bigger process, and one that I think people are like, wait, where do I want to do this, but I have no idea where to start. And so for you to sort of walk through that step by step and show them through the lens of your own journey with it, I think would be so super helpful, because it's much easier to sort of take things in small pieces and then see that each of those things are attainable. Whereas if you're looking at this giant goal, it feels very vague and you're like, it's too big. I don't think I can do it. But I mean, I will also just say, like, as someone who's worked their way up in this industry, I started with more manageable, like bite-sized pieces. So I started, of course, like in front of camera, but like I also started with like just writing shorter pieces, like comedy sketches, and putting them on social media. And that felt, once I could do that, I sort of built up the confidence that I could do more. And so, then I started writing longer pieces and asking people about their experience. Like, how did you raise money? How did you, like, what does it take to shoot that? Like, come up with actually like succinct questions. And I think that's also like the power of this platform in particular, because we're all reachable. Like, it's still a pretty tight community where, like, I'm sure Xavier would be really excited if one of you guys out there was like, sent him a message and was like, hey, I'm actually looking to make a film. Like, here's my specific question. Can you help me? I don't let me speak for you, but I imagine that you'd be okay with giving some advice, as would I. And that's what's like, that's what we should be using social media for, helping each other, connecting, sharing our journeys so that other people can learn from them. That's what it exists for. But I think a lot of that gets lost in this like current culture of, let's just show the most impressive version of myself. I did this in a day. Look at the final product. Like, that's not the reality. Like, the reality is like, it's a lot of work. This is what it really looks like. Let me help you, or, ask for help, whatever. So I think it's really cool that you're going to do that. And I 100% will be checking it out myself.
Ah, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, yeah, I mean, and I think, so let's even talk a little bit about, how you mentioned that this is something that you would be putting here on Sue, but, not necessarily on other platforms. Like, what is it about? I guess, how did you find Sue in the first place?
I actually, interestingly enough, a friend of mine told me about it. And then I got to know a few people that actually work at Sue, and connected on LinkedIn, and we became, we started talking, and I wanted to better understand Sue as a platform, because the social media aspect to making our film is very important. One, to get our message out. About artificial intelligence, about fighting even. I have quite a bit of MMA experience and fighting, and so does our other producer and our actor. So we're going to be talking a lot about fighting, also. But fighting physically, but also fighting for what we believe in, fighting for the world that we want, and talking to MMA fighters and fighters in general will be super interesting. So I wanted to, we developed a strategy around social media, and when I heard about Sue, I was like, are you kidding me? This is perfect. One, because it's a new platform, and then obviously our exposure would be interesting, and also being part of something new is super exciting. Also, the possibility of bringing partners that could advertise or benefit from the model that Sue offers is super interesting. And so yeah, it became something important now in my strategy for this film, to develop a fan base, because the bigger my fan base is, obviously, the more I can go and make content, because the Netflix of the world and the Apple Plus and the whoever will come to me if I have a fan base. If I'm nobody with two of my friends and my dog as a fan, it's not going to be sufficient. Maybe we can add your cat. Actually, where is your cat, by the way?
She's sleeping over there now. She got bored of our conversation. I'm not bored, though. Yes, I will say she was on my lap for most of the show, and then she kind of gracefully exited inconspicuously. But no, I mean, I love all of this. Also, I feel like, do you know about Dewey Cooper's fight night on Fridays here on Sue?
No, I don't.
So you should check that out. Actually, you should connect with him, because Dewey Cooper has a recurring Friday night show here on Sue Live. And he, obviously, it's a fight night, so he talks to MMA people. So I feel like he would be a great person for you to chat with. And obviously, I am here to facilitate like-minded individuals so that they can connect. So just wanted to put that out there for you. And to anyone else who's watching who has been interested in the fight component of Xavier's film, like, definitely check out Friday Nights with Dewey Cooper. And then the other thing I was going to say is, did you know about the quarantine creep fest contest that we were doing?
I heard about it like today.
You heard about it today. Okay. So, I mean, listen, I think this is just a really great platform in general for people, again, looking to be creative. It really highlights people who are on social media for, I'll call it, the right reasons. Also applies to your reality love life show that we're going to be doing, like, here for the right reasons. Yeah.
Am I gonna have
Are you here for the right reasons? So yeah, like, but I mean, in all seriousness, I think Sue is a very genuine platform. I think people are here I mean, granted, there's always exceptions, but I think people are here because they genuinely want to connect and create. And so people are in different stages of their sort of creative journeys. So some are just starting out. It's maybe a hobby, something they want to learn a little bit more about. And then there's also the people who are like pretty experienced and do this full time, yourself included. And then, like, it sort of fosters this community where, again, everyone's doing kind of cool things and bringing people together. So one of the ways was with this Creep Fest contest, which all of these like big name guys from horror, Dan Myrick, Blair Witch, Jeffrey Reddick, Final Destination, Tom McLaughlin, Friday the 13th, like they all came together and they were like, we want to incentivize people to create something in this lockdown setting. It's been hard for all of us. Like a lot of production, most of production has shut down. So how can we inspire people to make stuff within the confines of their home? And they kind of came up with this. So, I think all of this is just fostering like a long-term conversation and sort of creativity for everyone here on the platform, to get involved and like grow in their sort of creative process. So I think you can be a very pivotal part in that as well with your whole, like, sort of documenting the experience with Rival. So I think that's really cool. All right. Well,
talking about the creative aspect, I actually wrote down the name because I have the memory of a break. Kim Jamelia, I think, was that person that had this crazy costume.
Yeah.
Really, really good makeup, by the way, because I'm actually looking for a makeup artist right now for another project that I'm working on. We're doing a little horror film. In the meantime, to kind of like get our feet wet, we've written a short film that's going to be kind of dark and kind of like slasher a little bit.
Slasher. Okay, I was going to ask, is it like psychological? Which element of horror are you incorporating? Boo.
And this one we're doing something, we're still developing the script, but it's going to be something super thriller-esque, where there's a lot of moments that are, something is coming and it's very quiet, it's very easy camera moves, but boom, and all of a sudden you have we're going to do it in my house where I am right now. It's a former hunting lodge from the 1700. So you don't see it. There's a lot of outside. It kind of looks like with the vine and the leaves turning to yellow, and that vibe of fall that I love. The morning fog and the underground cave and all that stuff that we're gonna be utilizing. We're gonna be deconfining ourselves or confining ourselves in my house and just making a film party kind of thing.
I mean, it sounds like it's right along the lines of like, again, what these guys had sort of set out to do. So it's really cool that you're doing that on your own, because I think this is a great, a lot of us are limited and sort of what we can do. So it's like a great time to sort of, just make stuff. Why not?
We can't let this situation, this global situation, this like kind of like weird situation that we are all in, confined, and the rules, and in France we have to download applications to go and shop, a food shop, and like curfew at 9 p.m. I mean, it's kind of crazy, and people being like slaughtered in churches and on the street. Like it's such a very, we have to, I saw a post, I don't know, I think on LinkedIn today, about detoxing yourself from the news. Like we got to find a way to center ourselves and find peace within, and being creative for some of us is such a great venue to do that.
Absolutely. And to any of my, I'll use this as a segue, to any of my US friends, I know today is election day. So again, take Xavier's suggestion and do find a way to sort of detox from the news if you can. Like, obviously it's important to stay connected. It's important to do your part. And I definitely want to encourage you to go out and vote. But aside from that, like, take care of yourself. And if that means, getting creative and doing something to just like take your mind off it for a little, or channel your frustrations or your fears into something, creative, like, do it. Like, that's what art exists for, an expression of all of these feelings. It gives us an opportunity, like you said early on, to sort of like, you said you had your father had passed you, and you sort of found a way to have this like cathartic experience through your art. Like, that's for me too. That's why I do what I do. It's to feel things. It's to help communicate other stories or perspectives that sort of people might not know about. It's to make other people feel things. It's to make escape for people who might be looking for an outlet. So it's all of these things. And like, this is available to anyone. We all have, if you're watching this right now, you have a phone, and that means you can make something with your phone. They have that capability. So do it.
And in the meantime, let go of your phone for 5 minutes and
that too.
breathe and
That too, for sure.
breathe, because Jesus, I mean, today in the US, big day for you guys. And I love the US dearly. I lived in the US for 21 years. I'm married to or I was married to an American woman, and I have a child who was born in LA. So I have a dear, some of my closest friends are in the US. I have really that love for this country, and beautiful place, great people, very giving, so fun. I'm a sports guy, so sports in the US is just amazing. And I really hope that the next page for the US right now is going to be a positive one. It's going to be a driving towards a positive energy, because God knows we need it. We need it, because
we all need it.
The US and the rest of the world, it echoes. So we in France, a lot of people, contrary to what a lot of people say, France is very close friend to the US. Politically, don't care, don't give a shit what people say. On a personal level, I think French people in general really, really like the US. We are big fans of US movies and music. I mean, you hear it in our parties, in our house, in our homes all the time. So big love to all the US people, and I really hope that the next president, whoever he is, gets his shit together and be a positive influence into the future of this great country.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Am I a politician today?
I love that. You pepped me up. Thank you. We're going to take a very quick break, simply so I can load up your feed and let people know where to find you. So we will be right back with Xavier's Feed on Sue. All right, everyone, we're back with Xavier Tournaud, and this is where you can find him on Sue. He's at Xavier888. Any reason for the 8s? Just a random question.
I'm glad you asked. 8 is the infinity number. It's a lucky number also, but it's also the infinite possibilities. So I decided to do 888, so we can have triple infinity of possibilities.
I love it. And like he said, he's going to be posting about his entire journey with Rival. You can already see some of the content that he's put up about it here on Sue. So if you are someone who's looking to understand more the journey into filmmaking, start to finish, what that looks like to raise funds, to write a script, to get your cast together and crew, to find shooting locations, to actually be on set and bring your project to fruition, Xavier would be a great person to check out and sort of follow along in his journey. And if you're simply someone who likes to consume content, but you don't necessarily want to be making a film, definitely go check it out anyway, because Rival sounds like it's going to be partially horrifying, but also incredible to watch.
And I welcome all private messages, and I'm actually doing the casting calls also on this thing. And seriously, let's connect on a human level. Let's be real in our communication. Let's be real, because we need to be real today, my friends. Sarah, you're you're like so much energy. You have a beautiful smile. I'm so glad that I've met you today.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I really enjoyed our conversation. And this is, I don't know if you've seen the show at all. It doesn't matter. But what I do at the end is sort of like, now I feel like we've actually connected face to face. So I feel like we are friends. So I'm going to respond to your friend request live on the show. We are officially friends. And I'm going to follow you, and now we can stay connected. And guys, really, I encourage you to go follow Xavier as well, and be along for the journey. And again, he's extended himself as a resource to you. So don't be shy, reach out in DMs and, you know, connect with him. So thank you so much for being on the show today and for such an awesome conversation and positive message. And I look forward to staying in touch with you.
Sarah, you're amazing. I look forward to one day give you a huge hug.
Yay, me too. All right, guys, we'll be right back with our next creator.